Beginning with White House Senior Advisor Cedric Richmond. Mr. Richmond, thank you for joining us this morning. Let's begin with the devastation left by Ida. I know you're coming to us from New Orleans this morning. You were with President Biden on Friday. What's the latest on the situation down in your state, and what kind of federal emergency assistance will President Biden be authorizing?
Well, we have all hands on deck down here. We issued a pre-storm disaster declaration, and then in the middle of the night after the storm hit, the president signed a disaster declaration. So that freed up individual assistance for families and individuals, and we still encourage people to go to disasterassistance.gov and apply for benefits, and especially those critical needs assistance, so that we can get money in the hands of people to do it. And one of the reasons why the president wanted to come down so early is because he wanted to see things on the ground, and we know what the problems are, and we're actually helping to resolve them, and that is getting power back on in homes, that's getting gas to fuel stations, that's getting tarps out there so people can start to mitigate their damage, and then it's to create and provide that assistance. So people that do come home after a week of not having electricity, they have to replenish a refrigerator. And, you know, most people don't think of it in that sense, but part of why we're here is we want to know what real people deal with. And that's a $400 expense or $500 expense to replenish a refrigerator. So we want to make sure, and that's just a small example of what we're doing, but we want to make sure we're meeting the needs as people encounter them, and to let them know we're going to be here for the long haul.
You know, the destruction really does highlight the need to counter the consequences of climate change, and they are countered with the infrastructure projects and the bipartisan bill passed by the Senate, the broader proposals in the Democrats' $3.5 trillion bill. But this week, Senator Joe Manchin argued to put a hold on the Democrats' bill, and it can't pass without his support. Doesn't that put both proposals at risk?
We're going to keep working on both proposals. If, you know, people have said from the beginning that both proposals were dead on arrival. People said that they would meet challenges. Well, that's what we do as an administration. We meet challenges, we keep working, we keep our head down until we get things done. And we saw that with the American Rescue Plan, and we're going to keep doing that with the infrastructure bill. But people should see now more than ever how important it is to have resiliency and to shore up our electrical grid and invest in our infrastructure. And then on the reconciliation bill, the Build Back Better bill, it's important to address climate change. These once-in-a-century storms are starting to come almost every other year. They're bigger, they're stronger, they wreak more havoc. If you look at New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, people should see what the climate change is doing, and we're going to address that in our legislation. And the president created this legislation over a year ago. So he was ahead of this, and now we just need Congress to come along with us so that we can protect the American people and invest in them.
But you read Senator Manchin's op-ed. He said he's not for it. He says $3.5 trillion is too much. He's not going to vote for it. It can't pass without him.
Look, Senator Manchin is a valued partner. We're going to continue to work with him, but we're also going to continue to push our agenda. And part of this, George, is just the sausage-making process, and it just happens. And this is happening in public view, but it's not abnormal for this to happen in the legislative process, and we're still full steam ahead on trying to get our legislation passed.
Isn't it also going to be harder for the president to get this passed now that he's got a majority disapproving, according to our latest poll, of the job he's doing as president?
No, I don't think so. I think what really will happen is people will start to realize what we need, the challenges that we're facing. We have to really take an assessment of what the American people are dealing with right now. They're dealing with COVID and the Delta variant. They're dealing with Hurricane Ida. They're dealing with a number of things, and we're meeting the challenges, and I think people appreciate that. Does it always bear out in poll numbers? Maybe, maybe not, but I've seen and I've done this a very long time. The leadership that the president providing is appreciated, will be appreciated more, and you get ups and downs, and we're not worried about poll numbers. We're worried about the 1.2 million people in Louisiana that didn't have electricity. We're worried about the people in New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania that are going through it. So this has never been a president who worried about himself. He really worries about the country. So we're not worried about poll numbers, and the president will do the hard work to garner the support of his party, and that's regardless of anything else.
Let's talk about the Texas abortion ban that passed this week. The president promised a whole-of-government response to this bill. What can the administration do to prevent the law from being carried out? I know he's tasked the Justice Department to look at that.
He's tasked the Justice Department to look at the actual law and the options that we have there. He's tasked HHS to look at other ways to make sure that women still have the right to choose and the ability to terminate a pregnancy or have an abortion if that's the hard decision that they choose. And then he's tasked the Gender Policy Council to also look at those. So we're going to, as an administration, look at ways to counter this law in Texas, which the president issued a statement and was very clear about the damage that that decision has done. And we're going to do everything we can to try to remedy that situation for people in Texas. It is just a cruel and destructive law on the rights of women, for the rights.
Speaker Pelosi said the House is going to vote on legislation to protect the right to an abortion all across the country. Does President Biden support that? Would he sign it into law?
The president said on the campaign trail that we should codify Roe v. Wade. And to the extent that we're doing that, the president supports it.
Cedric Richmond, thanks very much for your time this morning. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.